this may be another thing that might be better to have before board, because we have some administrative aspects of this, like who would be in charge of it, where exactly to go, how.
Could go to the department.
I like the form. I'm on the hand down. So,
It's my idea, so I
may
understand.
I make a motion?
Table it.
No, I make a motion that we start using the form, and let's get everybody else's feedback on the employee and the policy. But the form still checks all the boxes, correct? And it's cleaner.
I think it's, I wouldn't have brought it if I didn't believe in it.
I make a motion, unless you want to make it a motion. I make a motion that we start using this form moving forward, and then we table the wording of St. Charles's policy until everybody gets a chance to look at it as well.
So we're accepting the revised consent form at this time.
Yeah. No second?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So this is the resolution. This is the resolution that when somebody makes a complaint, that we know that these two forms, you know, are procedural.
Just one, right? Oh, no, and the employer. Okay, I'm sorry, I must have grabbed this when I was out here, and I'd like to table this till I can go through it. Would you like me to read it to you guys?
No,
I know what, we're from St. Charles law, I know what it says.
Okay.
I second the motion to table.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stole them all. These are yours.
Okay, the next item is approval to release attorney privileged opinion in regarding ordinance amendments. I'd like to make a motion to release the attorney opinion regarding the planning commission's ordinance amendments.
Could I just clarify your motion? Originally, when we talked about this, we talked about releasing it only to the planning commission. Earlier, you had said the public, so could you just clarify what scope of the release you were talking about? Like, would it be just to the planning commission, or would it be to generally land privilege?
I'm making a motion to everybody and anybody,
Okay, so public then.
the public.
I think it should just be the planning commission. Because it was confidential.
Is it against the law to?
No, the board holds the privilege, so it's your guys' decision on whether or not to waive privilege or not. I mean, I guarantee this will not be very popular, but we do not recommend waiving privilege basically ever for obvious reasons. I think this opinion is pretty innocent, so I don't have a major objection either way. I think the planning commission wants to see it because they want to know what to fix or tweak on the drafts they have, and I can
Yeah.
totally understand that. But as a rule of thumb, as an attorney, I don't usually recommend waiving privilege. I mean, those documents can show up anywhere for any reason.
What about the planner?
You can include the planner with that, yeah, the planner and the planning commission. And the issue is, I get the idea of transparency and stuff, but the issue is like, we raise things in legal opinions that might flag something as a potential risk or something, and then say that you disregard my opinion and you pass that ordinance. Now there's a document floating around in the public that's saying, look, there's risk for this reason, and this is why. And like that, I've seen it go downhill quickly.
And it's
So, generally, yeah, it has teeth. So generally, I recommend keeping it circumspect if you're going to waive. Not because there's anything dirty or anything like that, but just because you never know where it's going to go.
Well, here's what I have the issue with that is, we've already had it brought up by an audience member that the attorney bills were FOIA requested. And I think your firm denied us handling that? Or
Attorney bills are subject to FOIA, so
Are they?
we would not deny that. Yeah. There could be some redactions in there.
I'd like to know where it goes.
Yeah, so next meeting I'll bring
going to sign paperwork when you deny it. Okay, we will.
Yeah, there we go.
That
Yeah.
they deny it.
Or maybe you just not show up, because we should take a vote on who really wants to hear.
They did, they voted to hire my firm.
They.
No, it's all good as long as
Yeah.
I was under a different assumption. Okay, let's make a vote to release the attorney privileged opinion regarding the ordinance amendments to the planning commission and planner.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Heavenly Rest Cemetery amendments and rules. I had sent, I have quite a few pages here. If we want to just go over that.
For the month, yeah. I
So,
know where
we're
it's
going
at.
with the month.
I know where it's at.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to table that.
Yep, till next month's meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
River Dog banners. I know nothing of this.
There was a bill for $600 for the
Okay, so
man.
we're going to take it to the community, let Brian know what needed to be reissued. Because that was not voted for.
We're approving the banner now.
Okay.
So a motion to approve the $600 for the banners.
So I think it was 5.
$522 for the banners for the River Dogs.
Out of their donation.
I'll second. Roll call. Shano.
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Eddie, yes. Establishing an escrow account for site plan review.
I did submit.
Microphone, please.
This solid throws me off every time this is there. Okay, I had submitted some information. It should have been put in your packets. Today I've given it to you back in. So this is actually to do with, this has to do with looking at the fees that are charged and establishing a commercial escrow account. That's right there. That's what it's, underneath that one. There's that one, and is that St. Williams? Or is that the Baker? Oh, sorry, okay. It's a similar logo. Yeah, that was, I provided, oh, here we go. You guys not see it, it's there somewhere. So this has to do with planning and zoning application fee schedule. This is something that was brought up by Mr. Hamilton. And I had mentioned that this was something I was already looking into as far as the administrative part of what would need to happen when somebody comes forward with anything for the planning commission, zoning appeals, land division, that type of thing. So just today, we had to approve a bill for over $1,500 for a review of plans that had come into the office and it got forwarded right to the planner. Obviously, when somebody comes in and pays $500, when those get pushed out, the township is out that money. So if you are looking to have a commercial development and you're turning in your plans, what most other municipalities are doing is requiring an escrow account to be established where you put money in that escrow account for those expenses to be deducted because it should come out of the township coffers for you to move forward with your development. So there is a whole fee schedule that was provided by a neighboring municipality who has done this successfully, where they are creating those escrow accounts with that money, and if it goes to the attorneys or if it goes to planners, if there has to be any engineering review, anything like that, prior to that being in front of the planning commission, that those expenses are then covered out of that escrow fund. It's charged against it, and it also has the potential to allow for additional deposits if necessary, if those expenses were to get more heavy. So I think this is something, again, I don't like that this, I thought I provided a copy, but this is just an example. That's weird that it wasn't, sorry, that was in there. So essentially, looking at the fee schedule, at this point, we were not charging enough previously, and years ago, that change was made where we increased the amount that we were charging for plan review, for site plan review, to make it a little less costly to the township. Unfortunately, those costs have gotten even more extreme, so that increase is not covering it at all. That township actually does a $5,000 escrow account, and they've actually had to have other people where they had to go back and get more money because of the expenses with what they were doing. So any review that we're having done is now coming out of our pocket, which means it's coming out of the people's pocket that really don't have a hand in what's occurring for that development, right? So it helps to cover the expenses a little bit so that it's not us paying for it all.
How big is Million?
Same size as us, their tax base is a little different because they have Dow. But, you know, that helps a little bit, so they have a little bit more of an industrial area than we do.
So we're pushing the little guys out.
No, that's not at all what this is. This is making sure we're not footing the bill.
Don?
Compared to the planning, compared to amendment to the zoning ordinance, so that-
Well, this establishes it
No, that
administratively.
establishes what you're going to do. You
Right.
You take the act. The enabling part of it is in the zoning ordinance, and you start
Yeah.
that. So that needs to be passed so that you cover it, unless you want to just do it as an arbitrary act.
I didn't make a motion. I'm bringing it forward for discussion. That's what these meetings are for, because we can't discuss otherwise. As I told you in the Planning Commission, this was something that I was looking into, and I needed to get a little bit more information on it, which I've now done.
Now you've got it, and you can go back and put the amendment back.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So this is really something we need to look at when we actually see the charges that are in place otherwise for other municipalities. At this point, we have just a single charge, and it's not covering our expenses. So it's something that needs to
So
be
those
looked at.
other municipalities tend to have a lot of larger businesses. I used to
Varies.
live in Williams.
Yeah, it varies.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to take the small town out of our small town.
Well, and I don't think that's the intention. The intention is for us not to be paying for bills for people to do development here, that they should have those expenses if that is necessary. Now, I don't think that it's always necessary, but it seems like all of our plans are going to the planner right now, and that is costing us a significant amount of money. So this is something that we as a board need to look at to make sure it's a fiscally responsible program we have. But at this point, the $500 fee that people are paying is not covering the expenses we are incurring to look over their project. So it's something we need to have a conversation about, and that's what this is about.
But that actually goes for even the ZBA. I mean, $200 by the time we get variances, and we don't cover all of our expenses on
Right, I think we need to look at
the
that.
zoning board of appeals.
Their, on this one, their application for variance is $250, I believe ours is $200. So we're not vastly off on that one. The escrow has more to do with the planning commission when we're looking at commercial site plans. That's what this has to do with. Now, I told you that they have a $5,000 escrow account. That doesn't mean that's what we as a board need to decide on. This is an example for us to think about what makes this process
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least a break even for our township. We shouldn't
Should
be
we-
losing this much.
Should we table, can we have a full board?
I think we should.
I think we need a couple more.
Absolutely.
variables.
I'm sure you can come up with a few that use it.
I
This way,
do
this
like
is
what
one
I
that
see there, it's just that the 5,000 gives you.
Well, yeah,
Take
but
it
this is
back.
all for us to decide.
Yeah.
This is all for us to
Maybe
decide.
step.
But when you see how they have it laid out here, I think you can see we're falling behind in.
I just don't want to
being
scare
reasonable. I
Don.
understand.
I agree with all of that, not the point in doing the amendment, but the question is, how do you set that escrow? You don't want to set it at 5,000 for every one. So you just need to think about that.
Okay.
You either ask the engineer, based upon what do you think what it's going to take to do it.
Okay.
Don't set it at $5,000. Check rate, most projects, as you say, here and now.
Would that be able to come out of our building fund? Any of the escrow, and would that be the account? The
No,
escrow
the person submitting the plan
pays the $5,000.
pays it, and then it goes into a specified escrow account,
For that.
yes, with their name on it. And then monthly, it's charged against that account, and then they are notified if it is getting low on funds because of how difficult, right, the review is, how complicated the project is.
So if we
So,
don't like the review, there's a lot of questions that can cost them if we like it.
no, not necessarily. I mean, at this point, everything's going to planning without, I mean, there's stuff that went to planning that I wasn't even aware of went to the planner, that I wasn't even aware of, and then we just get the monthly bill. So this kind of covers that a little bit. It's kind of like the expense that Trent was talking about for the Linwood Beach project. That is coming out of the grant money, but it's still money we have to expend first. So we have to pay the bill, like the Spicer bill that we approved tonight, that has to be paid by us before the state reimburses it. So it's the same basic idea, that we would be reimbursed for those expenses out of those escrow accounts that were established.
And they get back any access funds?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, they would get back the access.
Motion is made and carried forward.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Solution estimate for exterior cameras. Yeah, I got that one too.
So this is the project that, that I've been working with Heidman Solution on for the last year, right, year plus. The slow up on this actually had to do with Heidman being able to get Wi-Fi into this building. Obviously, because this is a metal building, people did not have good reception open with their cell phones. And it needed to be done a certain way so that we could keep everything networked the way that we needed to. So this solution proposal is proposing to fill the rest of the slots in our existing camera system to provide a little bit of additional storage space for the extra camera feeds. And this would actually allow full perimeter coverage on the hall building, and an additional one on the front of the office building where the fire department is, which would give us the entrances and everything to the parking lot. I know that we've had a few things going on that are not good. So this would at least give us some kind of a backup should something like that continue to occur.
And did you work with them at all on like the meeting room, like where we can get meetings?
They do not have a solution for that, nor does Heidman. I have been having some conversations with other municipalities. The main problem for that, and one that we're going to run into as well with the website, is that there's now a requirement to be ADA compliant, which as a municipality, we don't have a lot of choice. So we actually have to meet a few requirements, and I know other bigger municipalities are struggling with a way to do that. First off, finding somebody that can provide that solution, but secondly, making sure that it's ADA compliant in order for us to officially have such a post. That's a whole
But
different
it's
animal.
just Donut, Bangor, and Monitor have their own YouTube channel, and that's,
They don't have their own. I've been talking with Bangor. And there has to actually, if you have somebody else doing it, it's different. If we as a municipality do it, then you actually have to have this closed captioning. You've got to have this contrast. There's a few different rules that are coming forward from ADA. I originally found out about this back in October at MTA, and I had actually talked to a couple of website companies that were also talking about that necessity. So I have had conversations with other elected officials about this. They are struggling on that part as well, to record their meetings and have it be compliant where you can actually put a link on your website. So I'm continuing to ask questions. These cameras are a completely separate issue as compared to that.
We did budget in for these when we talked when we were planning, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really delayed by the time we got this all squared away. However, after my conversation with Heidi Friday and again today, I think that it would be very simple to utilize what was budgeted for the server, because I don't think that's going to happen in this fiscal year, and to use it for this purpose. This actually is going to give us a much higher level of security. We have had a lot of dumping issues that have been happening lately that we've had to clean up, so.
When I was done fixing the toilet and I pulled out, the guy was pulling away from the dumpster in an orange Dodge. I didn't know if it was a janitor, but it was a
Yeah. But nothing. Yeah, we've had to call several times because people keep putting remodeling stuff in the dumpster and filling it up when we actually need to use it for haul use. There is a sign out there to discourage that, but it's not really discouraging it. And just, you know, for the record, if you put it out outside your fence, GMO will pick it up. So I don't know why people are bringing it here, but every time they fill our dumpster, it puts us in a position where we have no place to put the trash from this place, so.
I find it excessively expensive, but I thought we were focused on the server update, and I thought that was in the 15,000 category.
I think it's going to be higher than that. I know a neighboring municipality was forced, was forced to upgrade their server as a crash, and it was 19,000 for them. So I don't know that what we had tentatively budgeted for was going to be sufficient regardless. In addition to that, there's some changes coming with BSNA that we need to have conversations about with Heidi specifically on what that requirement is going to be for technology infrastructure. And there's going to be some expenses related to that that are not going to be optional for us. And that's a bigger conversation that we need to have about that. We're not going to have a choice.
Okay, is there any motions on? It's a lot of money. So the camera system is a total of $11,544.24.
I think the trail cameras do a lot cheaper at the dumpster than that. Arlo.
We got internet here.
Yeah.
The problem is that they're not networked, so that's, in order for it to be a networked system, it has to be controlled.
I just don't know how we're gonna save $11,500 in our dumpsters.
Well,
I mean, this is a proposal. This is a proposal for all of them. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to do all of them, but they are grouped together. So I don't know at which point I wasn't able to reach Jim, unfortunately, but I don't know at what point that additional backup is needed. We currently have a few on that system. We have 5 slots remaining, and so this would be for those remaining 5 slots. It's also proposed for a 14 terabyte hard drive. And like I said, I don't know at what point we slide over, because we already have 8 slots. I don't know at what point we slide over for that hard drive compared to what we currently have. So I think there's definitely some conversations that can be had about that.
can we ask them if we do an upgrade to all this will be compatible? I'd like to know that when they upgrade the server and stuff, because that would involve all this also.
You know, all of this rides on our network, but it's all just connected over the computer.
Okay.
So that would change it all. That would be kind of part of the setup with the new network. They're all hardwired in. The only difference over here is the meeting. right? The beaming that has to happen just to keep it on the same network.
Which is all final already, that's why we did that.
Right.
For the election stuff, and to keep up with the elections and people coming in.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, though. It's a lot of youngsters.
I would agree.
It's a lot of youngsters.
Well, it is. Gate costs over half of all the gates in our very dumb.
I make a motion to approve the cameras. The solution for the hall and the fire station.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote. Shane,
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Eddie, no. Authorization for legal to pursue moratorium, nothing else.
So this actually relates to one of the comments that I think you brought up earlier. I don't disagree that there's a lot of stuff in the ordinance that maybe should be changed or should be looked at, or that the public disagrees with it. I think that's common. I don't think you'll find a municipality that doesn't have that. But I think, at least in my time here, one of the things that has been clear is that the public has very divisive opinions on crematoriums and incinerators. I think we've all been at meetings where people have showed up in favor and opposed to that. And a moratorium is just a temporary pause on approvals for new crematoriums or incinerators to allow the planning commission and the board time to address those regulations, tweak them, leave them the same, whatever, or add changes. And I will tell you right now, I think that it could benefit from more specific regulations on what sites would be appropriate for those types of uses. So this is just a proposition that if the board wanted to consider adjusting or looking into and changing its regulations as they apply to crematoriums and incinerators, a moratorium is just a temporary pause. It's a resolution essentially that the board would pass to pause new approvals on that until the new regulations come into place.
So you just said the board stated they wanted this?
No, this is just a proposal that I had thought of as something to deal with the inconsistent opinions or differing. The public seems opposed to this or in favor of it, and I think that the ordinance could use some cleaning up in regards to where these can go, what that looks like, what they're allowed to do, things of that nature. So it's totally the board's prerogative if you want to adopt it or not.
Do you feel what you're proposing is both a benefit to the applicants and the public?
I think it could be construed as it depends on how. I'm proposing a temporary pause on applications, whether or not the board relaxes the requirements, which would benefit the applicant ostensibly, or makes them stricter. I don't have any control over that. That's a policy decision for the township to make. This would just be hitting the pause button for 6 months or whatever time, less than a year usually, to allow us the planning commission to do some work on it and decide what we want to do, where this would be appropriate, and what regulations should be in place.
Because currently, isn't the crematorium allowed in our AR district by special use, which is over half of our township?
Correct. And that's what my comment is. I think that it may be appropriate to look at what sites would be appropriate for this type of use. Because I think that it is a large chunk of the township right now that would be potentially suitable or allowable for something like that. And this is sorry, go ahead.
Does this put us in any harm?
I wouldn't say it puts you in harm. There's no property rights or vested rights to applications. Obviously, if you're operating and you're approved to operate something like this would not impact you, and you would have vested rights to something like that. But you don't have a property interest in an application for something.
So I want to make sure there's no amplify some of the things that are going on.
I don't think it would amplify it. I think it provides an opportunity to pause, and if anything, it may help to slow this down and provide time for the township to put regulations in place that everyone feels comfortable with, or most people do at least.
And this is legal.
Yep, moratoriums are legal. It's essentially a police power, it's an exercise of your police power to pause the applications. You often, right now, see them in the context of data centers. A lot of municipalities are putting them in place to pause applications for data centers because a lot of zoning ordinances don't adequately address data centers because they're relatively new or what have you. And so this is very similar in that regard. It would just give us time to look at that and maybe we decide that we're not going to make changes or they're very minor changes. Like I said, that's beyond me. This would just be giving time to have those conversations.
This did come to my attention on Friday. Troy McCormick called me about it, but I knew nothing of it until Troy called, and you're aware of that.
I didn't know that Troy called you, but I did. It was my idea. I talked to Troy about it. So, yeah.
So it's kind of funny that this is being brought up when the planning commission asked for a moratorium on data centers and it fell on deaf ears.
I make a motion, approve a moratorium.
Well, sorry, Brian. I should have clarified. It would just be authorizing us to put it together. We have to.
Just a
It'll come to the next meeting.
To authorize the lawyer to pursue a moratorium on incinerators and crematories.
What's the time limit on it?
I will second.
They're usually 6 months. They can be extended, but it's
all in favor?
it is temporary.
Aye.
I just need to be roll call.
All roll call. All right, roll call vote. Mashano?
Yes.
Eddie? Yes. And Whalen?
Yes, sir.
Well, second.
Bay County Fair and Exposition. Now, hey Trent, the board already authorized, I believe, a moratorium for the data centers. Is that something that you?
I don't recall that.
Well, I don't know if you were.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, but it was before me?
I think it might have been, but I don't think we have one that's been executed. so-
That could be the case. I'm happy to look into that if it was. It's all,
We'll look into the minutes.
my office has been doing them a ton and they're like real, we can get you one really fast. We've been turning them out like crazy. So if that's something the board wants to do, I'm happy to do that as well.
Okay. No, I just wanted to, I think it was
Talk about it, but I don't think we voted on it.
I don't know if these orders, but
Yeah. Well,
we can't, yeah, but I just wanted to, because I think we already had it.
I hope so.
I just don't think it was executed. I think it was in the transition.
It's happening.
Okay, Bay County Fair, and Exposition.
I believe when we did this last year, we charged them a minimum amount to cover the cost of security, but now our agreement is different, they would have to do their own security. And we'd have to see proof of that, and we would have this agreement. As per.
I think that would be fair. Fair. A motion to have them, provide the, security for this event and for the township to give them the, same deal as before. other than-
No, it's different. I think that because of the fact that they're using so much of it. Okay. We have changed our policies since the last time they did this, so
But it was the further cost of security.
that was part of it, but we also changed our policy otherwise as far as the deposit amount. And they're also asking to use the hall until 1 a.m. and that's actually, I do believe that our contract says something, I don't have it in front of me, but it says something about that. Is it out by 1 a.m.? So, out by 1 a.m. Okay, all right. So I just wanted to make sure we were all right with that because I know we kind of tweaked that a little bit. But it is a $300 deposit and they would have to provide security and proof of that. And then, of course, you know, without any issues, the deposit would be retained. So I guess I can make that into a motion if you want.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Security and proof of the 300.
Rebecca, are you clear on that motion?
Say it again.
I kind of figured. To approve the Bay County Fair and Youth Expo to utilize our hall, provided they provide a $300 deposit and provide proof that they have obtained, security for the event prior to the event commencing.
I second.
I think I do.
The overhead second. Sorry.
It was the first draft.
You nailed it.
All right, roll call. Brian?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Eddie, yes. Okay. So now we're on to, almost there, Bay County Road Commission gas station. Road Commission approved the lane for the deceleration. They're gonna fill in the curb area. And, it would be really nice to see that corner cleaned up. Don't believe there's anything to, vote on. Sounds like it's all their jurisdiction and drain commissions because the property is so unique. It's got one thing on both sides. Probably more of a communication. Emergency medical services agreement with MMR.
These chairs are really squeaky.
Motion, do you want to talk about it anymore?
Sure, I'd love to get up and talk. So all it is, everybody knows, currently right now, Patriot is our service ambulance. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. We've decided, I've sat down with MMR, they're gonna supply a rig in Beaver Township. So 8 o'clock at night, it'll be a 24-hour rig. After 8 o'clock, they're moving into Euclid Avenue, where they have quarters to stay. For those that don't know, before Patriot got here, that's where MMR came from all the time, was from the Euclid. During the day when they get busy, they might slide it from Beaver up here to our place, so they're closer that way. The contract doesn't cost us anything. There's no subsidies, there's nothing else. Every ambulance has to have their thing. Last week we ran 8 calls between Friday and Monday, and we didn't have Patriot on a single one of them. We had MMR, MedStar, or Northern Bay. So Beaver Township has already signed their agreement with them, and it's already been turned in. I talked to their operations manager today, so Beaver Township is signing with them. It looks like Auburn Williams probably will be doing the same, and if they approve it tonight, we'll do the same. It's a 5-year contract, but there's an opt-out clause. It costs us nothing to have them here. There's no subsidies, there's no money involved, there's nothing. It just means that when we have an emergency medical call in this township, we'll get MMR for an ambulance service. There's not going to be any issues with service, there's not going to be issues with time and distance, any of that stuff. I wouldn't even think of it if I didn't think that it was the better service for the township that we can do right now. I wouldn't put us in that position. So speaking with Adam, it's been in the works for a while. It was just he didn't want to oversell it, which is a good thing because we've been oversold by a lot of ambulance companies in the past. So with that, that's what it means. And it costs the township nothing, and there is an opt-out agreement. Bangor has the same one that they've been with. They've had the same contract for 3 years with MMR. Bangor Township has. So it's the same wording. It costs us nothing. Like I said, if we want to get out, there's an opt-out clause. So we can opt out and go back to Patriot. But right now, I think it's a better move for the township.
Thank you, Chief.
You and I both lived through MMR's premises.
Oh, I've
As
lived through lots of
full-timers
business
here.
promises. Yeah.
What stops them from system status pulling it through?
There'll be one, there's one truck that's left to serve it. They have 2 trucks on right now, as ultimate goal is 3. Nothing stops an ambulance service from being out of ambulances. There's some mornings here by 10 in the morning, Northern Bay which is stationed in the city of Pinconning, is going all the way to Bay City because we're already out of ambulances in the county. That's just that's the nature of the beast. So there's no guarantees. MMR's mutual aid is MedStar or Northern Bay. So in the event that Auburn gets a call and MMR's their service and they run that way, if MMR's not available, we're going to get MedStar or we're going to get Northern Bay, which is what we get now. Like I said, there's no guarantees in the EMS world. And I'm going to be honest and upfront with you all right now. EMS in this county is horrible. If some of you knew, sometimes we're out of ambulances, we're out of this, and it's nothing against the people that work EMS, we're just short. Nobody wants to do this stuff anymore. They just don't. So we're short staff, and MedStar used to staff up to 5 to 7 ambulances during the day. We're lucky if they got 3 now. It's just that nobody wants to do this. There's nobody to put anybody in a seat to do it. So a lot of their money's based on transfers, and I can't say anything. If Patriot wants to run transfers, that's where their money's at. Because if I get transferred from hospital A to hospital B, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, or insurance pays for that. If they pick me up off the middle of the street out here, and I don't have insurance, they're still obligated to pick me up, but they're not getting any money from me. So they have to go where they're getting their money. MMR has 2 ambulances that service right now. When one goes out of service on a transfer, the other one stays here. When the other one comes back, then we still have the 2. So I'm not going to guarantee in a perfect world that we're always going to get MMR, but that's going to be our service ambulance. It's not going to affect our service. Our service has come from Bay City forever until Patriot came in here. I think we can do better with MMR, and if we can't, we have an opt-out clause. I have a very good relationship with the new ops manager, and he, like I said, he didn't want to oversell it. He's been wanting to do it for years. Ops managers at ambulance, I compare them to a used car. They come in here, they want to sell me the Cadillac that the little old lady drove to church, and 6 months later, the car's broke down and I can't get it to go anywhere. And I've told them that. I'm very upfront with them because I'm very passionate about that we get the best service that we deserve in this township from the companies that work here. And it's not like it used to be where these companies that worked here were attached to communities. They're not anymore. Ambulance service has become a business. Well, this isn't a business for me. This is my life. This is my family. These are my friends. So this isn't a business for me. So I don't take it lightly that we do something else. And I don't want to keep going because I could stand up here in a soapbox all day long and tell you about a lot of things but I think we'll do better with this and we'll be fine. It's not any, I wouldn't put this township in any kind of spot where I didn't think we were going to get good service. They're going to provide us with the service that we need, as good or better than what we're getting now. And it costs us nothing.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make a motion for this emergency medical services agreement to go through. Trent just wanted us to word it with legal review.
That's fine.
Is that correct, Trent?
I'm happy to review it.
You don't think we need to?
It's your guys' call. Yeah, it's totally up to you.
Okay, we're going to do it without you.
Second.
Well, we need to stipulate this NFC as well as part of the motion. We need to stipulate the second.
Brad.
It's only, it looks like it's one signature.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah.
All right. Roll call for a second.
Second, with Brad signing.
Here we go.
Roll call, DeShano.
Yes.
Eddie, yes. Whalen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, public comment, 2 minutes. Is everybody public comment about it?
I'll make a quick one.
No, I don't have to.
No, they didn't promise that one. Yeah. The new form that was approved tonight. The new form that was approved tonight for the St. Charles zoning and all that stuff. How soon will that be brought online? So I'm going to assume we're a general law township.
Yep.
So all zoning ordinance complaints have to be put in writing, correct, Trent?
No.
No? Okay. Well, myself and several residents that have taken pictures of Mr. Campbell's address and his ongoing rummage sales, section 408. No more than 3 garage or yard sales shall be conducted by a household of the township during a calendar year. There's 4 of us here right now that can provide pictures. If you would like pictures, he's in constant violation. He wants to say the ordinance is the law is the rules. Well, Charlie's not above the law. So, as an official complaint, it has been given to you as the board to forward on to Troy, I would guess, would be the next step. So, thank you for your time tonight. Thanks to all the residents that showed up. Let's plan on having your next meeting here in this hall again.
Public comment?
Jim Flocho, 201 Ernest, and this is actually a 4-part comment.
The first one is, how far are the windmills coming? We have windmills coming in this area, don't we?
I believe it's all west of 70.
75.
Up to, how far north?
I haven't heard of anything in our township.
Okay. And what about solar energy?
I've not heard the same. Mr. Barsha says that there's a bunch of 70 properties within our county that they are coming to.
In Bay County?
Yep, Bay County.
And we don't know where the counties are or the areas
I
yet?
think they have a map on the county
Marshall
website.
will? Okay. And.
I think Brandon Krause map.
One thing I wasn't clear of is, with more businesses coming in the area, do local property taxes go up or down?
Taxes should only reflect that of the property that's changed, so I would believe that it
All right.
shouldn't affect your residents.
So somebody was telling me before that you got, like, when all the pot shops came in the area, they were all considered businesses and property taxes went up, or personal property taxes went up on that because of all the businesses in the area. I was wondering about that. No, not that you know of? All right.
You know, I think it actually would have depleted some of them places where some of them are placed. Seems like it would have, but some of them are placed pretty close to residences.
Yeah. And one other 3.5 question, I guess, is if windmills do come in the area, are they considered businesses? Each individual windmill?
It's agricultural.
Okay, so it's not business.
Well, I think it's a business use, but isn't what they pay personal property?
Yeah, so there's tips a lot of times too, I think, and things like that. There's a lot of tax deals cut around them. But like the local control related to renewable energies is heavily curtailed these days. The township has a lot less ability to prevent them than they would have had before Public Act 233 was passed, which was like 2 years ago. So I'm not
They had no say.
Right, so generally, like what happens if a developer wants to come to the township is they can come through the local process, they have to approach the supervisor and kick it off that way, and then if the township has what's called a CREO, or a Compatible Renewable Energy Ordinance, then they have to follow that process. But a CREO can only have the regulations that are in the state statute, which are very minimal. So like whatever the setbacks are, whatever the other height and stuff is all in the state statute. If you want to go beyond that, which prior to PA 233, everyone did. We used to require massive escrows, we would require decommissioning plans, all kinds of stuff. You can't do any of that without running the risk of the developer telling you to go, do your own thing, and we're going to go through the state, because now the state has its own approval process for them. So the ability for the township to regulate and keep these things out is very much so diminished to what it would have been 2 years ago because of the state law. So we can put a CREO in place and try to work with them, and we can get certain funding and stuff through that whole process. And if it does go through the state, the funding can help with that, but the ultimate decision maker is the state if the developer wants to go that route. So.
All right. I just wanted to mostly make sure that taxes didn't go up because they were considered businesses. That's what I wanted to find out, mostly. All right.
Yeah, that part I'm not entirely sure about. It would depend on the specific project and what their sort of arrangements were from a tax structure standpoint.
Okay, Lori. Did Mr. Mike's refund, I didn't see that on the agenda, that we approved the planning commission?
It's not on the agenda. You just went through with it.
Bill, okay.
On my phone,
I just want to make sure we got it from
those
those.
are 250. Public comment. Public comment. Public comment. Motion to adjourn.
Amen.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
It's like, I know. You and me both. Oh my gosh.